Howdy, howdy, howdy. It's the time of the week again. We're gonna use my mic voice. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Blast off! Welcome to the 78th episode of the Korea podcast. I'm your host Jack, located here in the beautiful coastal city of Ulsan in South Korea. Coming to you live from the Korea podcast, the only podcast on YouTube that is live from South Korea, about South Korea, and everything to do with living in South Korea and working, of course. There's been a bunch of stuff going on, happening around the peninsula, good and bad, but mainly uncertainty is what's happening most recently, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. It is the 24th, I believe, of August. Sunny day. We're having some seriously hot days. And sounds okay. And it is hot on all fronts. Two topics that we'll be covering today. First one, the main one. I wasn't sure which one to talk about. The first one that came up was the wife bashing that occurred just a few days ago, or maybe a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, I think. And so that was initially to be the main point of this podcast, but things have changed drastically over the past few days, and so it feels like the present topic that we're going to be covering initially is probably the one that we should be, or that I should be. I don't know why I refer to me as in the plural, because it's just me. There is nobody else working on this sucker. So, we're gonna go. There's a bunch of things I'd like to cover in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic, if you'd like to call it as such. And then I'll talk about the bashing that took place, because that needs to be talked about, and I don't want to make it the secondary topic here, but it's equally important. But I guess the corona. Anyway, okay. So today's the 24th of August, and over the past week, or I guess or so. Korea has been experiencing a spike in the COVID cases, right? Which is quite disconcerting. It ain't cool by any means. So I'm going to talk about what the media talks about, what the measures are that are being taken, possibly will be taken, and then some other stuff, and slip into some possibly some topics bordering on the conspiratorial, and I'm going to talk about some interesting numbers which may or may not provoke outrage on the, by the listeners, from the listeners. So maybe the first thing I would like to do is, what is that? Oh, wrong clickety click. Okay. World meter. Let's have a look at the world meter. What's going on in the land of COVID in South Korea? We're presently standing at 17,000 corona cases. So over the past couple, and 309 deaths, 14,219 recovered. Good ratio, I think. The spikes here. So this is the website World Meters Info lists stuff that was happening all the way dating back to February 15th, and 29 cases and BBD. These are the total cases that occurred, and just keep in mind, as you can see, that the line has never lowered, clearly, because there's always more and more cases. But on August 14th. It spiked here, 15th. As you can see clearly, it kind of went up. And this is what we're looking at right now. We had a massive spike in cases 851 recorded cases on a daily basis here on March 3rd. And then after that, things just progressively dropped down to like 10 cases, 4 cases, nearly to 0. And, you know, kept bouncing along until August 15th, where the number of reported daily cases has been jumping up to the present 397 cases, reported cases per day. Let me just check quickly. Chatty chat. Where are the chats? Chat. I got it turned off. Okay, here we go. I see a chat that was posted here, but I don't know. It's slow and delayed. Oh yeah. Just a quick shout out to ourselves, to myself, to the podcast. If you're new here, remember to, you know, hit the like. If you're if you're new here, then, you know, that's your business. Do whatever you want in your own private comfort of privacy. But if you're new here, remember to support the channel, hit likes and subscribe and all that good stuff. Share. Anthony Daniels, this is the worst audio I've heard in a live stream. Really? Why is it? It can't be that bad, can it? What do you mean? It's the worst audio. Let me hear that. Remember to support the channel. Sounds pretty good to me, Anthony Daniels. You must be an expert. Sorry, not a pro. Anthony Daniels, this is the worst audio I've heard. Thanks for the input. You should have heard it before the invention, before the mic that came in. Sheila, hello, watching while it's cooking. Fantastic. You linked a random person named Shane Schools in your description. I thought you were a professional content creator. That's not a random person. Shane Schools is my business that I run here in South Korea. It's my language school that I run with my wife. So it's not a random person. Am I a professional content creator? What does that mean? That's not really on topic, but professional content creator, yeah, it's YouTube. So what do you consider professional, I guess? Give me like a ballpark and quotation or whatever, because yeah, possibly I'm not. I don't know what a professional content creator is. Are you talking about media? I have no idea. Check out Fox News. Maybe those are professional content creators for you. Now it sounds okay. It didn't sound okay before? Strangey. Okay. Okay, I don't know why. Moving on here. To dictation. Nope. Okay, where are we here? Where was I? Yeah, okay, spikes going up here. And active cases bumped up right here. Total deaths. Number of deaths has not declined in any case. It's 309 right now. And daily new deaths. Right, okay. There we go. Pim, 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 pim. It also lists, what is it here? August 23rd. So on August 23rd, there was a jump of 397 cases. And prior to that, August 27, there was 332, 324. In any case, over the past week, we had like in the vicinity of 300 cases per day, which is not a great number to have. Sheila, is this a problem? Like the mic should be fine. Let me know if this is, can you hear me now, or is that worse? Is that better? Because I may have things hooked up wrong. I don't know. Let me know if this is an okay sound for the sound or not. Turn off. But it was in a second. When I joined, it was squirky. Strange. Weird. Okay. I have no idea why it was squirky. Hopefully it's okay now. Okay, good. Okay, I have no idea why it was quirky before, what the problem was. Sorry about that. Well, I'm glad it was fixed. Maybe it was I had something else going on here that wasn't supposed to be on here. Right, okay. So there's a bunch of articles. I wanted to have a look. What is this? Ankara. Why is Ankara reporting? Ankara News. South Korea Tuesday reported 246 new coronavirus cases, considering bringing back tough restrictions in big cities. According to Yonhap News Agency, the new infections are linked to the churches in the capital city Seoul, from where 131 cases were reported during the past 24 hours. So once again, it's churches seem to be, for some strange reason, seem to be kind of the firing range here. From where reported. The local health authorities said they had carried out tests on 2,500 church members so far, and around 15% of them tested positive, the agency reported. South Korea is facing the second wave of virus outbreak, as the country has reported over 1,000 cases during the past 5 days. So, seems like we are on the brink of an explosion of a second wave of the coronavirus, which sucks big time. The Korea Herald has also posted some articles here. Moon calls for cooperation in antivirus fight. Oh my goodness. Sorry about this jumping thing. Fight to avoid de facto lockdown. So it seems like, when the cases reach a certain number, we're automatically going to go into a lockdown like we did last time, I guess. President Moon Jae-in on Monday called for cooperation in the government's anti-coronavirus efforts to avoid going into a de facto lockdown. As South Korea faces a second wave of COVID-19 infections, the country reported 266 new cases. Just a couple of days ago, I received a message. The government in Korea sends out messages on a regular basis about, I get dozens of them each day. And they basically said on Sunday that people should be staying indoors, and it seems like a lot of people did stay indoors. Me, myself, and my family, we stayed indoors on pretty much all of Sunday. I ran across the street to the Hagwon here to get stuff organized a little bit. Had to set something up. But other than that, we stayed at home, which kind of blows because the weather was great. So for me, it sucks being stuck in a house. But apparently that's what we're facing. And if things get progressively worse, then we're going to have a shutdown again. In addition to that, the Korea Herald reports that prospects of annual economic growth during COVID-19 resurgence, the predictions for economic growth are kind of, receiving a tumble. With the second wave of COVID-19 outbreak fast approaching amid the reinforced social distancing measures, pessimism is mounting once again on South Korea's economic growth outlook this year. According to previously suggested scenarios by key global institutes and local think tanks, the country could see its economic contract as much as 2%. Some market watchers and the central bank, however, also warned against excessive fear and pessimism, claiming that the latest turnouts will not be as extensive as the first global crisis earlier this year. So I guess, I don't know, it's not as bad as it might be, or whatever. As COVID-19 is showing signs of spreading once again here, and the social distancing rules had to be reinforced, consumption will take negative impact. I don't know. for me personally, COVID-19, a couple of days ago, I don't have the article now, but a couple of days ago, the government here in Korea announced that protests were to be limited to 10 people per gathering. So no more than 10 people could gather during any time, during any protest, which is a very convenient way of saying do not protest against us or any other, for any other reasons, or else, right? Basically. So I guess they're saying that if there's a protest of more than 10 people, then we could basically go and break it up, and there'll be repercussions because you're endangering the entire nation due to the possibility of further spread of the coronavirus. Very convenient way of doing stuff, I think. Here's another article by, who is it? The Chosen Ilbo. Let's see I'm not getting the entire, okay. Another lockdown looms amid coronavirus resurgent. Korea reported, this article is from August 24th, which is today. Korea reported 397 new coronavirus infections on Saturday, the most since March 6th. The country has seen a resurgence of more than 300 infections a day for 3 days running, 1 in 5 untraceable. Health authorities have warned that another lockdown could be imminent and banned all gatherings of more than 10 people and send school kids home. Look at that. Conveniently enough, the thing I was talking about is happening. Anthony Daniel says 0 patrons on Patreon. Yeah. Would you like to be the first one? Do me the favor. Head over, patronize. Yeah. I haven't posted any content. I'm a busy man, Anthony. I've got a Hagwon to run. I've got a family to take care of. I try to build up my presence here on YouTube. I do the podcast on a weekly basis live. So that doesn't leave me a lot of time to do any extra work in addition to all the stuff that I already do to add to the Patreon. I wish I could. On top of that, right now we're getting signs of a possible shutdown, which means there's going to be even more work for us to have to transition over to the internet, online teaching. And that's one of other topic that I wanted to mention. A lot of schools have already begun that transition. There are Hagwons that are moving slowly to online teaching and so forth and so on. And some are proving to be successful, others are not. Thanks, Anthony. Not so dead. I mean, it's a new channel, but if you feel it's dead, then toodles. Take care. Go somewhere else. Find a live one. And people are, taking precautions. So it feels like the lockdown that we had in May for Hagwons was, for many businesses, was kind of a start. Yeah, it was kind of a warning. And then after that, I know in Canada, for example, I think all schools, everything has been on shutdown. Same in the United States, everything has been on shutdown. Korea was opened after 2 months. Everything went back to normal, so to speak. There were precautionary measures, distancing and this and that. And I received warnings. Even my wife said, this is bound to repeat itself. And here we are. And it almost feels right now like those 3 or 4 months that we had was kind of time given to businesses to prepare themselves for the second wave. Those businesses that managed to get things in order, get themselves set up, have managed and will do well, I guess. But those who fail to prepare in any way are going to struggle, because if this lockdown happens again, it's going to be a longer wait, possibly. Let's hope it doesn't come to this, but things are not looking great. Anthony says that I thought this would be useful to learn about Korea. Anthony, If you would like to learn about Korea, take a look at the channel, have a look at all the videos that I posted. If you think it's just a low effort waste of time, then stop wasting your time and go ahead and disappear just the way you appeared, and then, go find another channel that will prove more useful to you. Thank you for your time, and have a good one. Just a low effort waste of time. Yeah, maybe it is. I enjoy it. You don't have to. Bye bye. BBC says coronavirus in South Korea confirms second wave of infections. Health officials in South Korea believe the country is going through a second wave of coronavirus despite recording relatively low numbers. The country had been a success story in dealing with COVID-19, but now expects the pandemic to continue for months. No idea what's going to happen, right? Head of the Korean Centers for Disease Control, Jung On-kyung, said the first wave lasted up until April. Yet since May, clusters of new cases have grown, including outbreaks at nightclubs in the capital city. Between those periods, daily confirmed cases had fallen from nearly 1,000 to 0 infections recorded for 3 days in a row. Officials on Monday said that over the last 24 hours, 17 new infections had been recorded from different clusters in large offices and warehouses. Dr. Jung said the recent resurgence had led her to conclude that the country was in the grip of a second wave of the virus and that she expected it to continue. Until now, the KCDC had said that South Korea's first wave had never really ended. Who knows? Okay, so whatever. The first wave has never ended. The second wave has barely begun. Okay. Second worst wave underway in Korea, KCDC. So I don't know. We've got the first one never ended. The second one hasn't begun. And so the second wave, or whatever the heck it's called, is the new resurgence of the cases right now are being linked to the Sarangjeil Church in Songbuk, a district in northern Seoul, is at the center of the coronavirus resurgence in Korea. By the way, I shut Anthony Daniels up because he was annoying. If you're here, if you're new to the podcast, if you got something to contribute, if you got a question, then feel free to leave me one, to ask one. If you want to trash talk, feel free to do so. But if you want to, but do it somewhere else, not during a live podcast, because that's just annoying. If you have a problem with the channel, go ahead and leave a comment on some YouTube videos, on the videos that I posted, and bash them there. Don't bother me right here. I'm doing serious work here, yo. Right, where was we? We was... Ouchie wawa. Over the past week, Seoul has added novel coronavirus. So basically, I mean, this is a moment of grave crisis, said Kwon Jun-wook. There was a demonstration. Basically, the demonstration that took place just recently was staged by members of health officials say the church cluster is projected to grow further as a. There was a demonstration held against the President Moon Jae-in government, against the Korean government under Moon Jae-in, the present president. And it seems like a lot of the people who were part of the demonstration were also members of the church. And so one of the conspiracy theories was that the church is presently being targeted as a result of that demonstration, that the president's administration is targeting this church in order to dismantle it or whatever, because of what happened, right? And again, COVID kind of proves to be a very convenient way of dismantling any resistance of any kind to authorities or whatever, right? We could say that because of this church, a new outbreak is occurring. We're having a new rise in cases, and so that needs to be taken care of and nipped in the bud. True or not, I have no idea, but that is the conspiratorial streak that is being mumbled about a little bit here in South Korea. I found this interesting piece, and this is what concerns me a little bit. There was talk of a few months ago. There was talk of like passports and stuff like that, having people having to basically be to have to be tested and get passports before doing anything, before traveling or before even going to work. So there's this website, World Health Organization, this little piece written by them. This was posted on April 24th. Immunity passport in the context of COVID-19. So basically the suggestion is that people should have a passport, be immunized against COVID, and that they should, who has published guidance, they should be not allowed to travel or go to work unless they can prove that they have been immunized against COVID, which is, who has published guidance on adjusting public health and social measures for the next phase of the COVID-19 response. Some governments have suggested that the detection of antibodies in the SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, could serve as the basis for an immunity passport or risk-free certificate that would enable individuals to travel or to return to work, assuming that they are protected against reinfection. There is currently no evidence that people who have recovered from COVID-19 and have antibodies are protected from a second infection. So this is a bit troublesome for me personally, because that will basically warrant pharmaceutical companies, and I don't know, I guess Bill Gates is the culprit here, or under scrutiny, since he seems to be the main producer of, or his companies, whoever is working on that, is trying to create the vaccine, and he seems to be on daily news. Again, this could just be, news spinning it that way and pointing fingers at him as the bad guy. I mean, there's a bunch of other institutes that are working on a vaccine, and of course, people are quite strongly against getting vaccinated for coronavirus, for the COVID-19 virus, for good reasons, I guess. But yeah, the last thing I would want is like mandatory. Mino, Nongu, hello, how are you, Mino? Last thing I would want personally is to have mandatory vaccinations just so that I could go to work or just so that I could travel, because that's something out of a Aldous Huxley novel, which is it's just dystopic. It's weird. The development of immunity to a pathogen through natural infection. Okay, I'm not going to read this. This is just says what happens. Continues to review the evidence of antibody, blah, blah, blah. If you want to read that here, I'm going to post that in the link if you'd like to read this. I'm going to post this in the comment section. Paste. Pew. Pew. That's what the doc does. Yeah, I posted the link in the comment section if you're interested in seeing it, and follow that sucker and get an idea of what's happening, what the WHO is saying. Yonhap News has also posted an article. Korea braces for a second wave. Oh, podcast. Why was of the tougher measures eyed in Greater Seoul? Let's have a look at this quickly. The number of daily news virus cases in South Korea bounced back sharply Tuesday as infections linked to churches in the capital city showed no signs of a slowdown, prompting the country to consider tougher virus preventive measures in the Greater Seoul area, currently dogged by a series of cluster infections. The country added 246 more COVID-19 cases, including 235 local infections, raising the countries, total caseload to 15,761. And it marked a 3-digit number for fifth straight day following one of them. We know. Okay, so there's a rise in cases. Fantastic. Not fantastic, but okay, we get that. Okay, so this is basically what all the media is reporting on. The local ones, BBC, as you have seen, and all the other ones. So let me just take you quickly, because this is what always boggles my mind, and I guess what's been bugging a lot of other people who always talk about COVID-19 and how it's, whether it's actually something that we should be fearing, right? So as of now, we're looking at, let me just go back again to the stats here for South Korea. 17,665 cases, 309 deaths, and 14,000 recovered cases. And so this is counting February 15th, since February 15th, right? Okay. So let me just hop over to something here. This is what I found. This is Vital Statistics Korea. And this is the part of the podcast where things are just, I don't know, conspiratorial or maybe tasteless to some. But I just, something that was crawling on my mind, and I was talking to some of my students, and some agreed with me, some kind of looked, confused or whatever. But Vital Statistics in May. Let's have a look at that. The number of live births was 22,854 persons in February. So in February, 22,854 people were born in South Korea. The number of deaths was 25,000, rising by 10% year on year. So in the month of February, 25,000 people died in South Korea. Hey Zimbos. In the month of, this is a month of February, March. In the month of March, 24,000 people were born, live births, and 25,000 people died. Almost 26,000 people died in the month of March. February, March, that's 2 months. About 50,000 people dead in South Korea. April, Vital Statistics, April. This was published in June. 23,000 people born, 24,000 people dead in the month of April. That's over 75,000 dead right now in 3 months. And in the month of May, 23,000 people born, 24,000 people died in the month of May. That's over 100,000 people dead in 4 months. The statistics does not go past the month of May, because I guess they didn't gather the information just yet. But so we're looking at 4 months' time and a death toll of 100,000 people versus a 6-month time and a death toll of 309 people. I would like to stress that these deaths are non-specific. There's nothing specific that it says, but so basically this includes all deaths, old age, disease, sickness, accidents, I assume, anything and everything. 25,000, over 100,000 deaths in 4 months versus 309 deaths in 6 months. As well as a nationwide shutdown, economic instability, loss of jobs, and just overall paranoia, fear, and panic. And I'm not here to turn this into a very strange, weird, awkward moment on the podcast. But am I wrong to like look at these numbers and assume that the next month, over the duration, if the 4 months of February, March, April, and May showed a death toll of 25,000 people each month, that these same numbers will continue throughout the months of June, July, August, and September, and so on. And then when we look at the number of 309, that it almost seems laughable that we are putting ourselves into this paralysis of sorts. It doesn't seem rational to me. It doesn't seem rational to me for people to close themselves in and refuse to go out anywhere, and to lock their children into having to do again online lessons, which they loathe. I've heard stories. I've talked to students, middle school students and high school students and elementary school students, my kids including, who have gone through the online teaching here in South Korea, and they hated it. Not to mention that it's boring. It's hour upon hour of kids sitting in chairs and clickety clacking on computers around lessons that were not very efficiently designed. So it's almost like the past 4 months the government was, or institutions were saving or gaining time in order to build up their online presence and hopefully present themselves in a better way now. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't understand. 309 versus 100,000. So this is 309 deaths in 6 months versus over 100,000 deaths in 4 months. That's the scale we're looking at. What the hell is going on here, people? I don't know. It's weird to me. Very weird to me. When we look, like, people compare the United States, there's so much more death in the United States. The United States has a population that is like 5 times larger than that of Korea. And has a landmass that equals that of Europe, all of Europe. I remember seeing a map where the United States was like overlaid on top of Europe, and basically the landmass of the United States encompasses all of Europe. So basically, when you compare the numbers in the United States and Europe, you got to compare all of Europe versus all of that in the United States. It's bizarre. I find it strange. And so I will leave it at that. Okay? Fantastic. Think about that. It's just weird. To me, it's something that doesn't make sense, and I don't get into conversations because I feel like I don't have enough to go by. But I look at these numbers and they look just odd. It looks very, very odd to me. Right? Okay. The next topic I would like to head over to is the bashing that took place, and I would like to point that out because that's highly scandalous on all levels. But there's something that can be done about it, so why not? So let me just dig up the information here. Oh, okay. So still in relation to the COVID-19, this is a message I received from the Gov, or this was a translation of what was shared with me just today. City Welfare Population Public Division owner. In relation to the city welfare and population public blah blah blah, the social distancing step 2 has been raised, and the health of daycare center children and nursery school staff is concerned due to the outbreak of COVID-19 confirmed in the area. Accordingly, in accordance with Article 42-3 of the Infant Child Care Act, ordered to close daycare centers. It was decided to close all daycare centers in Ulsan City as follows. Measures necessary for the operation of a daycare center, such as informing the guardian in advance through a family letter, etc., of the closing plan and emergency childcare plan, through the placement of on-time teachers in preparation of emergency childcare needs, such as when the guardian cannot raise infants at home when the park is closed. Park, I guess they mean kindergarten. Or the translation meant to say kindergarten. Scuba! Hey! Scuba is here. Scuba is a friend of mine here. Friend of mine, also running a YouTube channel, very interesting. Traveling around Canada, scuba diving in different locations in South America, Mexico. Check out his channel if you're interested. If you scuba diving, he also cruises on his motorcycle across Canada. There was a very cool kind of series he posted there recently. Very nice. At Scuba Travel and Adventure says, so I see, starting to realize the bullshit behind COVID. I'm 100% sure it's a plandemic, not a pandemic. Doesn't matter how I look at all this, and more deeper I do my research, nothing makes sense. Yeah, I was never really 100% against the idea that it's a plandemic, but I always like to keep my kind of doors, unlocked. And the position that I hold here as a school, school owner, and I work with sensitive persons in a sensitive area, it doesn't really allow me a lot of freedom to say what I think, and actually more, it doesn't really allow me a lot of freedom to act out on what I think. I kind of have to go with the flow and follow the rules and basically, keep clients happy. So I rather err on the cautionary side than not. On the right, I'd rather err on the side of caution. I have no idea if that makes. I'd rather be cautious than to make a grave mistake, and that's going to cost me, in the long run. But so basically, the message, going back to the message that was sent out recently and translated into somewhat funny English. Measures, the daycare were ordered to close, but prior to closure, we should be letting parents know that we'll be closing down, and to make arrangements for parents who may not be able to take care of their kids because, a lot of people are working. The reason why daycare is present is so that people can send their kids while they go and make money so they can pay for the daycare to which they send their kids. That's the messed up kind of society and life we live in. It's weird. Instead of taking care of our own kids, we go to work so we can make money, so we can pay the people who take care of our kids, so we can go back to work and make more money to pay them back again. Modern slavery ain't no joke, yo. Okay. Good. Let me find the Dido Weedle. This is the Live in Korea page. Hey, Scuba, get this, man. I had a dude come in here, this fella above there, Anthony, whatever the heck his name is, and starts bashing the channel, saying how shitty and low quality it is, and he thought I was a professional content creator. Dude, please explain to me, because maybe you know, what is a professional content creator? It had me stumble there because I was like trying to think of excuses or reasons or understand my position here as a non-professional content creator. I don't know, maybe I should Google it. What is a professional content creator? What does it constitute as? Anywho, so the post I let out on the Live in Korea page on Facebook says, I got something troubling to share with you guys. This was shared with me, and I feel that I need to be viewed by as many people as possible, since there is something that can be done about it. And there is. Before I play the video, there is a petition that can be signed in order to do something. Okay, here's the video. I would just like to say that for women, or maybe men as well, if you have not seen this video, then it does have some graphic scenes, and brutal scenes, not necessarily graphic, but brutal. So keep that in mind. It's not nice to watch. I'll play it right now, and avert your eyes if you need to, because it's, there's no sound, just the video. Here we go. Okay. Thank you. There's no professionalism in content creating. Thank you. There's just content creating, right? Okay, so yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. I wasn't sure what that dude was saying. So this video, let me just give you a quick little bio on this video. According to what is said, this video was captured in a restaurant somewhere by a CCTV camera, and it's been making circles on social media, on Facebook, on different Facebook groups. And basically, the individuals involved is this man here, who is a Korean fella. He's 49 years old, and he is married to this woman. This is his wife. She is Russian, okay? And he is basically just beating the shit out of her. Living the lights, okay? The living lights out of her. Like, he kicks her in the face again and again and again. He throws stuff at her, kicks her in the face again, and there's people sitting around doing nothing. Like, this lady steps in and she tries to do something, right? She's like, stop. And this guy just doesn't care. He slaps her with a shoe. This girl like tries to leave. She's trying to put on a shoe and leave, and he grabs her by the hair, like throws her back on the ground. Okay, that's it. And it almost seemed like he was spreading her legs, trying to kick her in her genitalia, which is, it's disgusting. So when I showed this video to my wife, her initial response was gampe. Gampe is, I guess, from what I understand, is like a word for a gangster. I'm not sure if it's the equivalent of a pimp or just a gangster. Whatever the reason, gampe, I guess, is not a nice term for a fella. And it seems like the dude right here in the corner, he was trying to do something, and he pointed at him and then pointed at her, and it felt like he was saying, if you want to end up like her, then stand up, or sit down, or you're going to end up like her. And this dude just sat down. So basically, there was a bunch of people who were just sitting around and watching this whole thing unfold. And this is a problem with South Korea. Maybe this is Korea that has to blame itself for what's happening. Yeah, it is too bad. It's absolutely too bad. And you can do something about it. But I feel like this video should be spread all around, and as many people as possible should view it and talk about it, man, because this is a problem in South Korea. And I'm not saying all men are like that. Absolutely not. That is far from it. But there's enough guys like that who will do these kinds of things and they can get away with it. And then there's plenty of people who will sit around and do nothing because the Korean system punishes anybody intervening in a fight. It almost reminds me of stuff that happens in China when people get killed in the middle of a street and bypassers just walk past, onlookers. There's nobody looking and people just dismiss it because they don't want to get involved because it causes trouble for them. And Korea is experiencing the same thing. Like, Korea always points fingers. Koreans like to point fingers at other nations. Japan does this. China does this. But the stuff that happens in Korea is just sick. Like, this is a perfect example, and I think that needs to be made example of. People will not get involved in fights, or people will not step in to help because they will immediately become responsible for what happened after that. And this particularly goes when you are a foreigner. If you step in to defend someone and you bash that guy's in defense, you will be held responsible for what happened. And yes, Zimbos, there is a petition and it is available. And it is here. If you go to the Living Korea page on Facebook. You can follow the petition there and you can sign it through there. The post is there, but I will post the link to the petition right here in the chat. This is the link to the petition, which you can go and sign. I did. You can go and sign it with your Facebook, or however it's incognito. Number of participants 5. Let's see how many people have signed it so far. Last time I checked, it was 1,300. Oh, look at that. 1,800, 19, 2,000. All right, so the number has gone up by 1,003, almost 400 people, almost 500. So that's good. That's a significant jump. No worries, I get it, dude. Keep it clean. I'm just a crop disturber, very opinionated. Oh, no, you're good, man. You're good. The crop disturber was here before you. Don't worry, Scuba. You're all good. Zimba says, okay, I will look for it and share it to our community. Yeah, please do, because I think something like that needs to be, like, this has to be stopped. This guy cannot just get away and, like, you know, like, if he just bashes a woman in the middle of a street like that and nobody steps in, there's something wrong with society, I would say. And somebody else made a point saying that, you know, this was at 1,200 people who were signing the petition. I said there's 1,200 people signing the petition, and they said that when certain refugees landed on the coast of Jeju-do, the entire nation was up in arms and were losing their minds. They wanted to kick these people out. And when something like this happened, you know, hardly anybody stirs a finger. I assume that the majority of these people may be expats themselves, you know. I mean, I could be wrong, but yeah. You can look at who signed. What is it? View what? What did it say? I have no idea. Kakao, Facebook. It just says who from where and stuff. So I agree. Most of it says I agree. Some of it says there's some stuff from Naver. I guess you could kind of see Naver. Most Koreans use Naver. Most expats use Kakao or Twitter or Facebook, I guess. So that would give you an idea of how many expats versus Koreans are signing this petition. Yenihu transition. The link has been posted. You can find the link also on, like I said, if you head over to the Living Korea Facebook page. Not page, sorry. Living Korea, yeah, Facebook page. Just type in Living Korea into Facebook, and that'll take you to the Living Korea page on Facebook. You can find the link there. Maybe I should also post it underneath the video, I probably should. I might have to do it in... Oh, wait, can I do it now? Let's see. Can I do it in the post-editing here? I could. Yes, possibly can. If my computer doesn't goof up again. Yeah, let's see. My computer's been doing strange stuff lately. Oh, yeah, it's... let's see here. There's going to be lots of clamoring because the mic picks up like every little sensitive knock on the window here. Good. Fantastic. I hope that didn't make too much noise. Good. I posted the link. Save. I posted the link under the video in the comment sections, not in the comment sections, in the more sections, the description of the video, so it's there. Yeah, go over and sign it, man. Spread it to your community. Share the word. Tell everybody. Do something. Don't just sit there. Eat something. Right. Okay. Alrighty. I think that will be it. We're coming up on, what is it? 58 minutes. We're coming up on 58 minutes here in the podcast. It's been a doodly pleasure. It's been fun chatting and discussing and doing all the wonderful things that we usually do here in the podcast. We have spammers, we've got scammers, we've got bashers and gnashers and hosers and boobers. The other day I was actually thinking about sharing some stories, beginning to share some stories of my life, because I've had some experiences that were fun and interesting, and I think they may be interesting or of interest to some people, or maybe provoke some more bashing and trashing, because people love to do that. Whatever the thing may be, I think in the next episode, I'll share some stories, life stories with you lovely folks. But I need to write it down so I know what it's precisely, and then we'll start off with a little episode of life stories and such. Because why the heck not, right? So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you all to who came on, who showed up. Thank you Scuba, Zimbaz, Sheila, and who else was here? Spammer Anthony Daniels, thank you for your vigilante comments and wasting your time on this wasteful, wasteless, useless podcast and the channel. Thank you all for stopping by. If you are watching this podcast after the recording, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, check out some of the videos that I've posted on this useless channel, and hopefully some of them will prove informative. I try to do my goddamn best to provide you with some good info about South Korea, travel around the country, and so on and so forth. So yeah, and in the meantime, stay tuned. Come back for another upload sometime this week. I hope to keep it up on Wednesday and Friday. It's hard, but I'll keep you updated on how things progress and how things go. And always remember to come back next week for another podcast on Monday here at 10 p.m. Seoul, South Korea time. Same place, same time. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a good night. Bye-bye.